All right, gang. All right, that was Beyond Fallen Hate Crown. That is my favorite song from that band. Unbelievable. But right before that, Dead by Wednesday. I believe a Connecticut band. I'm slowly falling in love with them too, man. Awesome. But check this out. Right now, we got Ken Jones from Ken Jones Imagery. And
What's
Ken,
up?
who do we have with us tonight?
We got the Russello Project. We got John Carpenetti on drums, Charlie Russello lead guitar, and Mike Posey on bass. They're one of the greatest instrumental bands you will ever hear, and they're right here from this area. Charlie's right here from West Side, actually, originally, just like me. So this area has produced some great musicians, and these three guys are about top level of that. Wait till you hear it.
Awesome. So, guys, why don't you take a second, introduce yourselves, tell us what you do in the band. Mike?
Yeah, I play bass.
Charlie?
Lead guitar, all guitars. And I'm on drums.
And you're
I'm John. Yes.
Okay, that's awesome. So I guess, Charlie.
Yes.
Tell us how the Russello Project came about, man. Give us a little history on the band.
Okay. Well, I've been playing in a variety of bands over the last 20-some years, and I've always had this thing in the back of my mind that I wanted to do music that wasn't the kind of music that all these bands I was working for were doing, which is instrumental music, but, with a vocal quality to it, but yet done through. And it's cliche, but a lot of people do compare us to like a Joe Satriani. He kind of was the leader in that style of music. But I didn't want to really do that. I wanted to do something more, I guess, fusion-esque, a little bit more intricate, a little bit more meditative at the same time. It could be simple in one moment, but very complex the next. Just something with a lot of feeling. And anyways, so I started just jotting down ideas and doing that over the years. And then one day I finally decided to get up and get this going. And I started searching for people, and I found the two right guys to do it with, and that's Mike and John.
Awesome. Now, I usually follow up with how'd you come up with the name for the band, but it's kind of self-explanatory, right?
Yeah, basically, I'll be honest with you. I was thinking about what was I going to call this group, and I was thinking of names, and I just always remembered that I was in so many different bands with a variety of names, and I wanted to get, like my name was kind of known in West Scranton for being a guitar player. And I wanted people to know when they came to see a band, it was going to be me playing, because people would not come because they didn't know I was in the band. It was like a popularity contest, So I wanted to try to get my name out there locally, because I was so upset that locally I wasn't getting my name out there. So I just thought, I'm just going to put my name in the thing, And then, of course, my wife insisted I do that too. So, anyways, the Russello Project. It's not exactly a creative name, okay?
Right.
But
the wife usually trumps.
Yeah, there you go.
23 is a marriage. But I know.
I just, like I said, I just wanted to get my name out there and let people know, hey, it's me, Charlie Russello from West Side. Remember me? It's me playing tonight. Come on out and see us. Awesome. And it's kind of worked, because I used to have a TV show here in the area, and everybody knew who Charlie Russello was on Marywood TV teaching guitar. So I knew that the name would ring with people, and they would just remember, hey, that's that guy. He plays guitar. We should go see him. And it kind of worked. I started getting, a little bit more notoriety. The other band I was in, it was always this long climb of trying to just get that new name out there, So, plus, the music is about me and us now. It's about our music, so it's not really like an image thing for a band. It's more just about the music.
Awesome.
Right.
Awesome.
Well, some of these songs are like a quarter century old, right? Like you wrote them.
They are.
Young...
I've said this before. I'll say it again. They were the kickstart to the whole group.
Right.
I had something to start with, and we got them going and have been having a good time with them. We've kind of put our treatment on them individually and together, and now we're starting to write more music as a group. So it's still the Russello Project. It's the project that started,
right?
But it's not just Russello writing; it's the whole group.
Well, even the difference when you listen to the the early demos that you have on Reverb Nation compared to when I see is live, how much they've evolved. I mean, those demos are like way beyond most people's demos, and yet seeing is now with all the
some of those demos are just me on literally on a 4-track.
Right.
So I think one or two was on an 8-track ADAT, if you remember those tape. They were the digital tapes, and I had one of those, and you know, and then some of them are just me on my laptop, not even using guitar amps, just using software to model my sound. So it was just a way to get organized and get ideas down, and then from there, once I knew I found the right guys, we could just take off, you know. So yeah,
awesome. Now, how would you describe your sound to people, man?
Well, the way I look at it as I want to make an emotional connection with people. When people hear us, I want them to really think about what they're hearing and feel something. So, you know, the genre is, you know, instrumental. You might want to call it fusion. You might just call it rock. But it's, you know, I find it hard to give it an exact label. I've loved new age style music, which is a contemporary adult kind of like instrumental music that you'd fall asleep to. I've loved that kind of stuff, and I've loved, you know, the hardcore fusion guys like Alan Holdsworth or Al Di Meola, and you know, and of course my roots are in rock and metal, and so I love all that music.
Plus, our sets usually have a very wide range of music styles in there. There's a lot of heavy stuff, and there's a lot of ethereal stuff in there, or some little Pink Floyd influences you might hear in there.
Yeah, so our music appeals to a wide range of listeners. We've played in front of country, blues, and metal acts, and each crowd enjoyed our music because there's a little bit of everything in our music. Most importantly, I'm hoping people are feeling something.
Awesome.
Well, even though you don't, it's not easy to come up with a classification for the Steamtown Awards. They have you listed as one of the best band nominations for Jam Fusion Act. So where you said about fusion, that's definitely in there. But
like the word jam band, I think is very different than us. But we do in fact jam. I mean, we are improvising. A lot of the evening is us improvising. Sometimes we have great nights, and sometimes we don't have so great nights. But the whole time, though, we are working within a musical structure that we want to present.
Right.
So I guess jam fusion's a good way to put it. You know.
And everybody. If you've not been on the Steamtown Awards, definitely get over there to electricitymusiccontest.com and put in your votes for all the local musicians that are busting their ass every week, putting out great music. And it's not really a competition. I mean, you know, it's done in a, I don't know, what would you call it, a good spirit.
You know, Ken, it's taken me since 1984 to see my name somewhere.
Right.
It's recognition.
Yep.
It's not about winning anything. It's just about, you guys you guys heard us? Our music is here and it's happening. It's just something I'm imagining.
Right.
You know? So it's really nice. Win or lose, there is no win or lose. The fact that we're all involved in everybody's getting some kind of, you know, promotion or notoriety out of it. That's the great part of it. You know,
it's definitely great for the scene. We haven't had anything like this. I think they attempted it a few years ago and it didn't go off as well. But now under the new organizers for it, this thing it's just killing it. And then the awards themselves will be held at the V Spot where everybody will finally, you know, show up and see who wins the big prize, whatever that may be.
Right. It'll just be a fun night to have.
Yeah.
I mean, in reality, if this actually happens, I can't believe it, because you're going to have all these musicians who never collectively get together anywhere because everybody's gigging or something, you know.
Exactly.
And they're all going to be in the same spot in the same night, you know. That'll be a lot of fun. Definitely.
Yeah, that's cool. That was like the meltdown.
Right. Exactly. You know? Yeah.
Awesome. Charlie, the songwriting. Is there a format? I mean, do you come up with a riff and you guys follow, or is it a collaboration? How do you guys go about the songwriting?
Well, from my point of view, I kind of just try to imagine what it is I'm trying to convey on that emotional level, and then I just start developing musical ideas to try to fit that mold of what I'm trying to say. For John, it might be different. John's a drummer. Now, John, do you approach your drum in a creative way?
Yeah, and that was actually, for me, that was a little bit more of a thing that I learned how to do later. Like, I think I was doing it maybe before, but not just necessarily realizing that. But And what's great about doing that now in this day and age is just how readily you can record ideas. So oftentimes in my own practice, just to keep up with my craft, there's sometimes a very cool beat that I might stumble across that I'd like to pass on to these guys and see if they could develop a riff around that. And that sometimes work, but definitely I know songwriting credits often go towards the melody and maybe the chords in the song, but not a lot is always considered. Like a lot of times songs can do well if it's strong rhythmically. That's what makes people move.
Right.
Yeah, the drums, the beat, I mean, that's the number one element in music. It's the rhythm, you know? So, I mean, and that's just drums, but bass,
the bass,
holding down, you know what I mean, that rhythm and harmony at the same time. So that's Mike's job, so I'm not going to speak for him.
Mark, what do you say?
I know when I'm practicing, when I'm coming up with things to bring to the band, it comes from a wide range of influence, and it might be a melodic idea that you're bringing to the band, it might be a groove-oriented idea that you're bringing to the band, but normally you just throw something out there, and these guys are just so great. I mean, they're within a measure, they're picking up on it, and you're just expanding this out to something that it was not before. So that's how I like to write a lot with this band, is just kind of throw ideas out there and see how quickly John and Charlie just grab these things and expand them out into something that you couldn't have imagined before you brought them with you.
Yeah, you know how when you first hear a song, your first time you ever hear a song, you start to feel something? Well, that's our songwriting process. The first time we start to play something, if we start to feel it, we run with it. If it's not, we're not feeling it, it's just like a dud. All right, next. You know? So that's part of the process.
Who's writing the lyrics?
No, you are.
Whatever singer comes up in this group.
Awesome, guys. Now, you guys, you've played a lot of live gigs over the years, and Russello Project?
The Russello Project has only recently been playing many gigs because we only kickstarted this about a year and a half or so ago. But individually, we all have extensive backgrounds in performing and playing.
Awesome. So what would you guys say are the best and the worst things about live gigs?
Mike?
I would say the best thing is the feeling that you generate on stage and with everybody there. The worst thing would be equipment problems that you're dealing with.
Or lugging thereof.
Definitely for me, it's for some of those those improvisational moments that we have in the show that could just really change, and it's really like it's really fun to just realize those nights that you're really on, you know, versus other nights, which usually doesn't necessarily mean a bad show, but it's really great those nights you get to really feel it. What can be frustrating though is, especially for me, sometimes like things that you do in rehearsal and practice, and then it might not happen in the show. I know maybe something with my feet that I'm working on for a part, and it just gets botched or something.
Oh, that's a musician talking there.
Right.
Okay. You know, for me, I'll tell you one last thing. This is the best thing that's happened to me for all music. Okay, but it happened with Russello Project, and that's that we played a song and a woman came up to the stage crying. So, wow, I think I did my job. I didn't want to make her sad. Maybe she was crying for joy, but she connected somehow. Okay? There was something about something in that music that made her think of probably some past memory. You know, I kind of try to think of myself as a soundtrack writer. You know, it's like for a movie, but you're seeing it live, you're seeing the band perform it. So when it's a great night, I've impacted people. When it's a bad night, I've impacted nobody. You know, and it's like, you know, I mean, we always have fun playing,
right?
You know, but what's the point of playing if we can't collectively, you know, unite with the audience? The audience is the whole thrill of it, you know.
Absolutely.
From seeing you as many times as I have now and shooting you everywhere, I've seen that a few times. At the Cooperage that time, I actually saw the one woman getting very choked up, and but one of the coolest things that I've seen too is like people you wouldn't expect to like is, you know, like the metalheads, or, you know, like people you just didn't think were gonna be on board as much as they are, and then once they, you know, they see some of the things you're pulling off on the 6-string bass, and Charlie's just blowing people's minds. John back there doing, John Bonham type bashing, and
Yeah.
like everybody just falls in line immediately, and it's you just see the heads turn, like they weren't paying attention for a minute. It's like something will hit them, like what, and I love watching
I
that.
had this young guy, he must have been 21, come up to us after we were done playing, and he said, "I don't know who the hell you guys are, but you made a freaking night."
Yeah.
And walked out.
Right.
I was like,
Hey,
"Oh, cool."
That first night I went to see is, it was really to strike up some business, and I was just like, wow, because I hadn't seen Charlie in like 2 decades probably,
Right.
and I knew you were there. I figured like that's what I would do. I would go film a song or two for somebody and try to strike up a video contract. By the end of that night, I was just hooked. When you guys did Sky, I think I was almost that lady that came up to you. It did. It really does. There's an emotional aspect to their music, and to see it live, you can't really explain it. You just have to do it. You have to see it live.
Yeah, it's great that musicians can appreciate us. It's such a highest form of flattery for us as musicians. But then it's even greater that the ordinary person can listen to us play and appreciate that. Because ordinary people, when I say ordinary people, I mean ordinary listeners of pop radio or something, they don't appreciate all the
You
hardcore.
can have some stuff that's too technical to listen to.
Exactly. It's too technical. Sometimes music is just too much,
Right.
It's like Mozart in that movie. Too many notes. It's just too many notes,
But you're not like that. You're not showing off over each
No,
other.
we're-
Your song structures are strong.
We do not, that's important to me, that I do not play for the purpose of showing off the
Right.
instrument. I love doing what I can with the instrument, as a personal challenge, which is the musicianship part, but it's that back to the emotional connection with the audience.
I try to play what I feel is appropriate for the song.
Right. It's got to be appropriate for that feeling that we're trying to generate.
Right.
Yep.
Awesome, guys. Awesome. So the first song I have on deck is 54. What can you tell us
54.
about the tune?
Well, John kind of named this song, whether he knows it or not. I had a real cool riff, I thought, and I said, John, check this out. And then he said, hey, this is in 5/4. Is that what you said?
That's right.
And it took a drummer to tell me that, because I would have never figured it out. And yeah, so the time signature of the song is, of part of the song anyway, is 5/4. So that's why we call it 54.
Awesome, guys. All right, gang, check this out. This is 5/4, 54.
Yeah, and by the way, this is one of those songs. This was the first song that we kind of like kicked off the Russello Project with.
Oh,
This was
very
like
cool.
Like it was like one of our. It was because it's kind of a jam song. It's one of those jam fusion kind of
Yeah.
category songs. So we thought, let's have fun and let's just do this little funky thing. And this, you're hearing an old recording of it, but our new stuff you'll be hearing shortly with the new rendition of it.
Awesome. All right, gang, check it out. This is 54 or 5/4.
Right, 54.
54 from the Russello Project. We'll be right back.
Yeah, but
All right, gang, we're back. That was 54 from the Russello Project. Ken Jones, guest hosting tonight. Ken, how you doing?
Not too bad. Having a great time, Billy, as always.
Cool. We're here with the Russello Project guys. How you guys doing?
Great.
Mighty fun.
Very
Yeah.
good. Very good.
Awesome. So now, question for each of you. So we'll start with Mike. When did you first pick up your instrument, Mike? When did you know that this is what you wanted to do?
Probably like when the earth cooled. No, I think I was about like 8 years old and I got my first guitar, and so I've been playing for forever.
Awesome. Charlie?
For sure, when I was 15. That's when I can actually remember almost to the day. You know, I'll be doing this the rest of my life. This is what I wanted. And I was
Cool.
15. A year or two before that, I was fumbling through some of my friends' guitars and stuff. But it was when I was 15 that I finally decided this is it. Yep.
Awesome. John?
I had played my cousin's drum set when I was 8, and drums are just very hard to obtain. So when I was 11, my parents got me one, and from there, got a teacher and been rocking since.
Very cool. So now, how about the first song you guys can remember learning to play, Mike?
I would probably, I don't even know it. I would probably be an old Black Sabbath song.
Charlie?
Good start.
Well, I'll give you a few because I don't know which one came first, but I know these were all on my palette when I was first painting these songs up. I remember Living After Midnight, Paranoid, Since I've Been Loving You, just the intro, and Number of the Beast.
Oh, sweet.
I remember those songs were all like the first few months of actually trying to learn how to play. I was trying to learn those songs.
Awesome. John?
I believe I'm not sure which one came first, but it was either Paradise City, Guns N' Roses, or More Than a Feeling, Boston.
Oh, cool. So, I mean, you can see your roots in rock and metal.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, this...
Oh yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, we love rock and metal. That's where we come from. That's what we are. That's what we listen to regularly. You know, just because we play instrumental music doesn't mean we're jazzers or something.
Right.
That's the last thing we are. Yeah. So, like I said earlier, it's great to be on a metal show that realizes, yeah, we come from metal. This is another version of metal. Let's put it that way.
Awesome. Personal musical influences, Mike.
Personal musical influence, always Led Zeppelin, Black Sabbath, Government Mule, Warren Haynes and Alan Woody. Matt Apps are probably some of the best musicians I ever heard, so they're a big influence. Blind Melon, Candlebox.
Oh, wow.
Goes on and on.
Wow.
Candlebox, the last
Yeah. Well, I was even surprised. Blind Melon. That's cool. That's
Oh,
cool.
guys, great jam.
Awesome. Charlie?
Well, that's why me and Mike get along well, because Black Sabbath and Led Zeppelin were definitely huge, gigantic influences on me. But it's funny, I'll tell you a real quick story. As you know, my last name is Russello. And a few blocks here away from where we are today, I used to live with my parents, and they had a tailor shop called Russello Tailor Shop. And my mother found a cassette tape on the sidewalk one day and brought it in. That was back. Do you remember those days you used to record songs off the radio with your cassette tape? Because that was back those days. This was before I was playing guitar. And she gave me the tape, and it was weird. I couldn't make out some of the writing, and it had 2112 on it. And I put it in, and it was the first time I ever heard rock music. It was Rush 2112.
Oh, wow.
And that truly started off the entire music thing for me.
That's awesome.
I mean, when I was younger, I can remember listening to Elvis and stuff, but it was just like a fad. It was fun. It was a gimmick,
Right.
But when I heard 2112,
That
I was
did
done.
it.
Yeah, I remember going the next day up to the mall and buying every Rush tape that existed.
Wow. And it still amazes me. They're a three-piece band, and they sound like they're a full orchestra.
Yeah,
How they do that, it still blows my mind. Unbelievable.
musicianship.
John?
Before I played drums, my parents, I remember sitting in the car listening to John, at the time, John Cougar Mellencamp, Dire Straits. I loved a lot of that stuff as a kid. That was some of the earliest music I could remember. The Beatles, Electric Light Orchestra, even. And then then when I was in elementary school, I was really into Michael Jackson. I think that's actually what kind of helps me play some funky beats, sometimes when I have to in this group. And then when I started playing drums and getting into rock, really loved Van Halen. Really loved Alex Van Halen, probably my earliest influence in rock drumming for many reasons. And then I discovered Rush. Again, I remember I was on Route 6 with my father in the car, and Rock 107 around here, Fly By Night came on, and I was like, "Oh, Dad, this is cool. What is this?" He said, "You don't know who this is?" I said, "No, this is cool. They have a chick singer." and he goes, "No, this is Rush." And I said, "Oh, I've heard of these guys, from seeing, Neil Peart in Modern Drummer magazine, and then that just opened my ears to longer arrangements for songs, and just fell in love with it, and that just led to all kinds of other things."
Awesome.
Like what other kinds of?
A little later.
I know what Rush leads to.
Yeah.
Well, we already got booted from one station, Ken.
Okay.
So,
Hey, this is radio. Nobody saw the gesture I made.
So, guys, when you're not writing, rehearsing, playing out, doing work for the band, what do you guys do for fun? What do you do on your day off, Mike?
I got family. Got a 2-year-old son. I like to hang out with him and ride my motorcycles. That's about it.
Cool. Charlie?
These days, it's my daughter, Sophia. She just turned 13 months, and my wife. It's great to just be together. We work such opposite hours. We hardly get to, she comes home, and here I am at night,
Right.
And it's like that's how the nature of the music business for me. But yeah, mostly family. It's been a great adventure raising my first child, and so I'm just thrilled to be with her all the time.
Awesome. John?
I guess probably the other activity that I do the most beside daily besides music would be reading. Some days more than others, but books, I love comics, especially in this age, in the digital age. It's a wonderful thing. I have a good exercise routine. I enjoy that. That keeps me fit, helps me drum for sure. I actually play guitar too a little bit. That's kind of a newer thing, just to help with drumming, and love going to movies. Love going to movies and seeing flicks. Always up for anything.
Awesome. Guys, your most epic moment with this band, with any band, your most epic moment, Mike.
Most epic moment musically. Wow, that's a tough one, and I would say probably just the experience that Charlie was talking about earlier. When you finish playing a song or a set, and somebody comes up and says that really moved them, I think that's one of the high points of why I'm still doing this after all these years. So,
Awesome, Charlie.
I can't pinpoint right now as far as an epic moment, but I can generalize by saying there's times when I'm playing a note, literally a single note, and I kind of give myself a goosebump, which is not often, but sometimes when that happens, that's very epic. It's like, wow, we're on tonight, and it's just
awesome.
And I'm hoping the audience is getting the same thing, That's what I said before. Hopefully the audience feedback. But epic moments to me are internal. They're not out here. They're just right inside my body when I can feel something happening, and I'm doing it. It's like I'm not just because millions of other bands have done it to me, as everybody knows. We listen to music and we get chills from listening. But when you can play an instrument and then kind of get that same feedback, epic.
Awesome, John.
Well, I think I have a personal music one, which is actually something we all kind of have in common. For me, my musical apex, I think, was always getting to play CBGBs in New York City before it got shut down, and with another group, of course, when I lived on the other side of the state. But we've all gotten to play there too in different groups, which I thought was pretty cool.
That's
that is really cool. I didn't know that. You've all played CBGBs at one time.
Oh, yeah.
Some good trivia.
Oh yeah.
Awesome.
Which band were you in when you played CBGBs?
Oh, Scranton's own Psycho Nurse.
Oh my God!
That's right. You were in
Wow, I remember. Yeah.
Yep. I did 2 shows with them there. And I played there once with TLC, which is a hard rock group I was in back in the late 80s.
Right.
Totally lost cause. We played CBGB's once. We supposedly had industry people coming to see us, and it was all arranged, and we went out there to play, and they either hated us or they never showed up. I don't know what happened.
Awesome.
Who were you with at that time?
I was living down in Philadelphia, so I was playing with some Philadelphia bands, Stephanie's Religion and Last Known Good.
Right.
So I played there a bunch of times, a handful of times.
With anybody, like any of the the big CBGB names came from there, Blondie, Talking Heads, anything like that? No.
No, I just remember the
That's right,
dressing
I was
rooms,
even
though.
too young.
CBGB's
Yeah,
was,
what am I thinking?
already in the past.
Yeah, that's true.
I remember the band we were playing with, they were very, like you couldn't even go near their dressing room. And if you ever seen the dressing rooms in CBGB's,
Yeah, right.
it's like basically a men's room is what it is.
Yeah.
And it's not a clean men's room. But it's funny. I mean, yeah, some real, not to shoot this, but some really big heads, in this music scene, And that's somewhere I don't want to be. I'm
Right.
really honored to be here and create this music, but boy, when we're playing with some bands that are just like, I don't know, I don't get it. I don't get where they're coming from.
No, I hear you. I get it.
I played
I
with
know what you mean.
national acts in a bar, and they think that they're on tour, and I'm saying, dude, you're in a bar in Philadelphia. What do you?
Right. Oh, I've seen that already
Awesome.
a few times.
Guys, we're going to take it the other way. Spinal Tap moments. Mike, you have any?
Spinal Tap moments. I have so many of them, it's hard to pick. Lately, it's probably just been equipment failures, like epic equipment failures. You were there the night that you recorded us at the Duffy's Coffee
Right.
House.
First
when
time,
my
yeah,
amp
you-
just blew up, and I had to use one that happened to be right behind me.
Yeah, you got.
So, yeah, a lot of equipment woes.
There's many. Definitely equipment. I've seen. I've been on
film.
stage while power amps have literally smoked and coming up. And basically, we're playing, but the PA's been shut down.
Yeah,
Nothing's going out to the audience.
That's the magic smoke. That's no good.
Yeah.
So, that was back at the old Staircase Lounge, if you guys remember the old one. I played there several times, and I remember one time just power amps blowing up, literally black smoke coming out, and it's crazy. Yeah.
God.
I played
John.
inappropriate venues too, where the music was totally inappropriate for the venue. Those are just horrendous.
Oh.
Where you have a death heavy metal band playing a fire hall for some, it's just bad.
John.
Well, fortunately for me as a drummer, I haven't had a Spinal Tap moment. That'd be a bad thing for the band because I'd be dead. So
Good one.
probably the worst thing I can remember was a band I was with in high school. This isn't just I guess it's not Spinal Tap, but we were 15, 16. We played a church hall, and our group of friends didn't like the friends from this place. Just there's divide.
Right,
People
right.
are hanging out with their own bands and everything. So there's a little bit of a thing out in the parking lot, and somebody from allegedly from our camp threw a rock and split somebody's head.
Oh, nice.
And it just created just such a downer, put such a downer on the show.
Church bands, man, you got to watch.
Yeah, you got to watch out for those church bands. So
I'm surprised none of you has mentioned the recent hellacious fire at the video shoot.
Oh,
as
well.
a Spinal Tap moment.
yeah.
Okay, what happened? What happened?
You can mention that one.
Well, we were shooting the DVD for them. It was a full concert shoot, and during the one song, we wanted to add a smoke effect.
Who won it? Wait.
I think it was Charlie, really.
No, I didn't even know there was a fog machine there.
Well,
until it
I
got
know
turned on.
David lent us the fog machine, and I thought, maybe we could use it at one point during the show. But I know, Charlie, you suggested the song to use,
Right.
where the bow comes out, and visually it was great. It was starting off unbelievable. The lighting there was great, and when the fog was added, it was just perfect. And maybe a minute and a half into it, the alarms went off. Who would have thought that fake smoke vapor could set off the alarm?
No way.
Yeah, it set off the alarms, and
Three
we wound
fire
up.
engines later.
Yeah,
No
3 fire.
way.
Yeah, the whole all of Carbondale showed up.
And Ken's got the photo proof.
Oh, it's all on video. It's actually going to be like a B-reel to the DVD
Oh my God.
because we've got so much footage of it. We had like 10 cameras rolling, so we've got it all on footage and lots of photos.
Oh my God.
The best part was the fire alarm went off during the song. It actually sounded really cool.
It does. It does sound
And,
really cool.
I would have liked to. I was hoping the alarm was just going to turn off eventually, because then it would have been like part of the song. But the alarm wasn't turning off, so we had to stop.
The best part, when you guys see the video, was like at first you and Mike just look at each other, then you crack up, and it's finally the one camera I have has your reaction too. You're like, "What the hell?" Like everybody's looking around, and then Carol's got me on photo too. Like my reaction, we're all at the same time, totally blown away. Like, what is going on? No one knew what it was at first. If it was an equipment malfunction or what it was.
Yep.
But it was a good hour and a half to 2 hour break, wasn't it?
At least an hour and a half.
Yeah, they had to come in with the gigantic airplane fan and suck all the smoke out. Reset
Vapor,
the alarm.
though, right?
It's just vapor.
It
Yeah.
was thick.
It was thick.
I couldn't see Charlie next to me.
Was it that bad up there?
Oh yeah, it was bad.
See, like from the camera, it's
I seen it coming. I'm
It's
like, this
really
is
beautiful.
not going to end well.
Oh, yeah, I would have never thought that would have happened.
Oh my God. So bands, note to self: take it easy on the fog machines, I guess. Right?
Yeah, especially I guess in smaller theater type venues for sure.
Or
With
smaller,
sensitive,
or smaller
equipment.
townships, right?
Yeah. Oh, the guys loved it. The volunteer firemen, because they were just bored and waiting for something to do anyway. We asked them to come back and watch the show after they got out of their gear. I don't know if anybody did, but they were. It was something for them to do. And it wasn't dangerous. I mean, had it been dangerous, I'm sure
Right,
it wouldn't.
right.
But you know, this was comical. Luckily,
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Awesome. Awesome. Oh my God. So, next song I want to play, Pidge. What can you tell us about it?
Well, this is another one of those Kickstarter songs that I had, when we first got together. And hey, do you have a phone number people can call in?
Yes, I do. 570-861-9970. Again, 570-861-9970.
Well, if you're going to play that song, Pidge, if somebody can call in and tell me what that word means or where it comes from, then I think I'll give them a month's worth of guitar lessons if they want it.
a month's work from Charlie Russello,
From Charlie Russello.
just for knowing what Pidge means.
Well, what
That's
it
incredible.
means, not just what it means. You can't just look up the definition
Oh,
of it.
right.
You got to know what it means in this context. So that means if you've come out to our show, you'll know what it means.
Right.
If you want to take a guess at it, go for it. So give us a call. I'd love to hear from you.
Again, 570-861-9970. If you know what Pidge means pertaining to the song, a month worth of guitar lessons from Charlie Russello himself. All right, gang, check this out. This is Pidge. We'll be right back. we're back with special guest host Ken Jones. Ken, who do we have?
We have the Russello Project in the studio tonight, and you've just listened to Pidge, right?
Yes.
And I hope you all enjoyed it. It's a little bit different from the standard head-banging, face-melting metal that is normally played here, but you can tell listening to it that the virtuosity has a lot of roots in metal, and these guys can kick ass against just about anybody you can name. So it's good to open up realms of different listening. And then,
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I agree 100%. So, want to throw it out again there about the
Pidge?
Yes.
Yeah, you just heard the song Pidge, and that means something to me. And if you've been to my show, you probably know what it means. And if you haven't, you might still know, because it is something very public out there. So if you know what that means, call in, and if you're right, I'll give you a month's worth of guitar lessons.
Awesome, listeners. Check this out. Here's the number, 570-861-9970. Again, 570-861-9970. If you know what the meaning of Pidge is about in the song,
right.
You can win a month's worth of free lessons from Charlie. Awesome.
month's lessons from Charlie will have you in a national act playing on big stages. Trust me, any of these guys. Oh, the rest of you want to give lessons too? If like it's a bass player that calls in, because I'm calling if it is. I'll even take up drums, John, if you're willing to throw in a month's lessons.
I don't know. That's really. I don't think I'm as generous as Charlie.
Oh, okay.
With my.
John's got to make a living, you know.
You don't pay well, right, Charlie?
A feeble one at that.
Awesome. I tell you, I was a little starstruck, man. I gotta admit, like when you were saying about the Marywood show. I you know, as soon as you said that, I remembered. I was like,
I used to have long hair back then.
Yeah, well, yeah,
I had the metal hair back then.
Yeah, I remember. And a little bit starstruck there, dude. So I gotta.
Thank you.
I gotta admit that.
I'm still teaching, as you know now. That's all I've ever done since then. That's what's kept me alive in music, is teaching. If it wasn't for that, I don't know if I'd still be playing. You know, like that's what kept me going. And I really love to teach. That's the difference. You know, I don't just play guitar and teach on the side. I love teaching. It's my craft. So, you know, anybody interested in playing guitar, I definitely help them out. I also wrote a book, and I had that TV show called Guitar Shop locally. And that ran for 5 years and then reran for another 5 years. And
that's awesome.
I'd be walking through Dick's Sporting Goods, and an old lady come up to me, "You're that boy who teaches guitar." I'd be like, "Yeah, do you play guitar?" "No, I just used to watch it because I like watching you teach guitar."
And everybody was watching it, and the guys that were in my band were taking lessons from me, Al Travada and Eddie Boyer. We had a crappy little thing going on, but they would always tell me, you know, like that they were taking lessons off Charlie, and I knew Charlie.
They were
from
one of my
way
first.
back.
I think they may have been my first students ever.
Right.
I used to teach them for $3 an hour. That was the rate.
Wow.
And they turned out to be phenomenal guitar players, both of them.
Oh yeah, they're great.
Yeah.
And he's even got current students now that are out there in the scene that you'd all recognize. Some of them are up against you in the Guitar Player of the Year category. And that's how crazy
Some of them
it
are
is.
my students too.
Right? That's what I meant. You know, like, unbelievable.
It's funny. Good stuff.
Well, you know, that's got to be a testament to you if one of your students wins that.
Yeah.
Oh,
you know,
absolutely.
right?
Yeah. Absolutely. It's just the recognition that people think he's really good, and he learned at least part of what he knows from me.
Right.
You know? That's
right.
great. You know, I don't claim to be the molder of all these guitar players, but I've literally had my hand in most guitar players' upbringing around here who are my age, you know, or younger. It's just amazing how many guitar players are in bands or had been in bands that I've actually worked with on some level, either teaching or in the studio or in bands. It's just so it is a tight woven community here in our area.
Absolutely.
You know?
Yeah.
Well, for the metal fans out there, let's talk about that. I mean, you were taught by Paul Gilbert and Racer X.
He was one of the many teachers I was so fortunate to, you know, come across. Paul Gilbert. I mean,
Right.
he's the ultimate shredder. You
Right.
know?
And then you've been an instructor for everybody out there should recognize this name, Carl Logan from Manowar, and we know him by another name. but-
Absolutely. Back then, he was in a group called Archangel. His group and my group at that time played shows together, and he started taking lessons from me. And I think one of the reasons is he wanted to better some of the techniques he was using. And I was fresh out of the Guitar Institute of Technology.
Oh, wow.
Which is where I went out in California. So Carl saw that opportunity to kind of take through me what I learned through them, and I passed on what I can for him. Taught him for a while, maybe 6 months, 8 months, and during that period, he auditioned for Man of War and got the job.
That's cool.
Yeah,
Right,
so,
so you
then
got him when he was
and then
already-
the nice thing he did is he actually credited me in a magazine article, like after he was starting to play with them. He said, "Yeah, he goes back home. A guy named Charlie Russello straightened me out, and so I finally got a little credit there." So.
Right.
That's
Well, that's
great.
cool. That's cool.
Now, Mike, what about your, like, as far as teachers? I know, like, when you started out, who was really
Well,
a big help?
I had teachers when I was a kid. When I was 10 years old, my parents were really cool and got me guitar lessons and whatnot. But that was for ways back there when I was a kid. I really hadn't been formally taught.
Right.
As you know, I probably couldn't play a cover tune to save my life.
Right.
I don't play any cover music. So I'm kind of like an oddball in that sense, where I don't sit home and learn songs after songs from bands. I literally probably could not play a cover tune to save my life.
Right.
So I guess my approach to bass and music and everything is just a little bit different than maybe a lot of folks out there. You know, no better, no worse, just different.
Right. John?
I always admired people that could learn by ear. Just for one reason or another, I just always thought that you had to be taught an instrument for whatever reason. You want to learn karate, you go to a teacher. You go to that's how my thinking was. So I fortunately early on, I got with a very, very good drum teacher who I, of course, wanted to play rock and play the Van Halen and all that stuff that I was hearing at the time, but he was really the one that got me into other styles also and said, hey, you don't have to be into any of these. You don't have to love any of this, but this will help you become, versatile. But from there, very much today, I still listen to some of the other styles he introduced me to, jazz, Brazilian, all kinds of wonderful things. He got me into a lot of great drummers too that I still listen to today. And then I had a couple other good teachers, actually, oddly enough, who were in the world of jazz. So what was nice is I got to kind of take that technique and try and mold it into what I'm doing. So even for some of our harder parts, I'll try and play with lighter hands, but with as much force, if that makes any type of like a Bruce Lee thing.
Jazz, man.
Yeah.
That's a lot. There's a lot of crazy timing in jazz.
Yeah, I like. I think the one I had a friend who described it to me. She was not a musician, but she came to a concert with me, and she just leaned over to me, and this was eye-opening. She said that, and sometimes I feel like this, like playing like this with this group. She said, it's a conversation. She said to me, and I was like, that's great. You have a topic, whatever it might be, birds or, the weather, even. And everybody just kind of goes around and says their piece. Like, they state the topic and take turns putting their part into it. And they just see what they accomplish, from that. Sometimes conversations go long, sometimes they're short. So, I don't know, sometimes I feel like that when we play.
Being a teacher, this is the teacher in me speaking, you don't have to be born with it. I don't agree and believe in that in any form. If you have a desire to express, you can do it. Now, you might not be great at it or ever get great at it, but you can at least entertain yourself. At the very minimum, have fun at home playing an instrument, whatever it is. I am talking from pure experience here because I had no ear when I started. I did not know anything about guitar when I started. It was very difficult, and I literally put the time in, 6-8 hours a day
that's
for
the
years.
Whole key is putting the time in.
Yeah.
Sure.
And I guess any trade or craft or skill, if you put the proper time in, you get good at it.
Right.
You know,
Right.
I mean,
Well,
but it's
the
not just
10,000
time;
hours.
it's also
It's
proper
attention.
instruction.
And,
you
and
know,
it's a quality of attention. It's a focused, one-pointed attention.
right?
That's right.
But I want to stress that if you just want to have fun strumming the guitar around a campfire, you could learn to do that in a few weeks or months. It doesn't take years of dedication. You know, you can have fun playing music on a rudimentary level. You don't have to be, you know, again, some kind of musical genius. In third grade at Willard School here in West Scranton,
Yep.
they gave me the ear test because I wanted to take violin. You had to lift your hand when you heard these tones, and I failed miserably, they told me. And they did not allow me to take violin. So who knows what I would have done if I
Right.
got to start back then in third grade, you know? It took finally just me being 15 and kind of my own man, quote, you know, to be able to make decisions in my
Right,
own, not
right.
have teachers telling me this or
Right.
that, you know?
And that's the thing, and you touched on something there, having fun. I mean, that's
Absolutely.
where it has to start. You have to have fun with it, whether
Yeah.
you're a bar band or you're touring the
we're
world, or if
certainly
you're
not
just
doing it
around the
for money.
campfire.
That's for sure.
Absolutely, Mike. You will never be paid in the Russello Project.
Yes.
Well, that's just it, though. I mean, like, once it stops becoming fun and it becomes something you have to do or you're obligated to do, that's
The definition of have to do is different for us. We have to do this, but it's not because we have to do it for money. We have to do it because it's our expression.
It's like an
our
itch.
passion. you know?
Yes, it's like an itch that you have to
well,
scratch.
right. But I mean, you know where
No,
I
I know what
going,
you
right?
mean, but I'm just
Yeah,
showing you
but-
the flip side of the
Right,
same
right.
phrase, you know?
Yeah.
right.
Exactly.
And
Positive
then
in your
you know,
sense.
Right.
and then I think once a musician gets to that point, like that's it. They plateaued.
Music
That-
is no different than art, painting, sculpting, whatever, making websites. It's just a creative process. It's just your medium. Our medium is music. You know, so as far as I'm concerned, every human being is a creative individual if they choose to be. So you just have to find your creative outlet. And for us, it's music, and we do what we can with it. But that's what I was saying earlier. If you want to have music as your medium, go ahead, have fun. Just have
Awesome.
fun, you know.
Awesome.
One thing I teach. I do teach drums. Actually, that's actually how I earn part of my living. And like Charlie, I really and I think it's because I had such a great teacher and enjoyed those times learning. He's kind of like an Obi-Wan Kenobi. I was hoping to do that myself. One day. I thought I would have maybe gotten into it later in life, but it really completes a circle when you're teaching because you're really learning a lot too. And the one thing I always start off with, especially with new students when I'm teaching them, is you are going to take this as far as you want to. And that's okay, whatever direction it is. You might want to do what I do, play in a band, teach lessons. You might want to go even further than that. Maybe you'll move to the West Coast or whatever. Maybe you'll play in a bar band on the weekends, doing all AC/DC covers and have a great time at that and have a lot of fun.
Making a ton of money.
Making a ton of money. Maybe you will just be the person that wants to come home from work or school and play drums in their room because it makes you feel good. And that's the most important thing. No matter what of those areas you decide, it has to feel good, and you have to feel a sense of fulfillment from it and enjoy, and really, really enjoy what you're doing. I had a musician in this area a long time ago. Actually, when I was 17, I played with my first bar band around here. It was really cool. I met him at a party, and they were a Grateful Dead band. So, and at that time, I was not listening to them, to the Grateful Dead. So they kind of turned me on to that. But one of the keyboard player at the time mentioned to me. He said, "Listen, this is how it goes. When you're young, you think you're going to make it, but as you age, you have to find a way to have fun with it." Now, unfortunately, he's not among us anymore today. But I would really love for him to see what we have available to us. And this is kind of a tangent I'm going off on, but like what we're doing here tonight with technology, we're reaching a lot of people that this couldn't have been done maybe 10 years ago. Maybe I'm slightly off with that, but this was not technology that was around. It's really liberated artists. So now it's just new playing field. It doesn't matter. I don't think it matters your age, your looks, any of that stuff anymore. It's really so wide open. You have a lot of stuff to filter through, as I'm sure you can imagine. But however, I got to that.
Well, you touched on there a little bit about the technology, and I always talk with the bands about the, especially guys my age. Mm-hmm.
You've seen both sides of it.
Yeah, the internet, the social media, Pro Tools. What do you guys think? I mean, has it helped? Does it hurt?
It has definitely helped. There's no doubt about it. Because, I mean, obviously we wouldn't even be here doing this if that didn't exist. Those demos were because of technology. Everybody can have a recording studio in their house. 10, 20 years ago, you needed 10, 30, 50 grand to even begin building a studio. Now with maybe $1,000, you have a full-blown studio recording, and you can do anything you want. So, and then when you get to the social media part, I mean, I always tell John, we have quality likes on our Facebook page. We have whatever it is, 500 or whatever likes we have, but each one saw us. It wasn't just like a bunch of people went over there and just started hitting like. All these people, like, that's a great gauge for us. We have a tool now to say, hey, 500 people actually saw us play and perform. That actually thought we were pretty good.
You just spam everybody's inbox.
Remember, we were kids, and you were out there slapping flyers up on telephone poles when you had a gig like nothing.
That's right. That was
so funny because I always mention that.
That was social media back then.
That was social media.
And you
Parties.
prayed to God it didn't rain before the gig, right?
Yep.
That's right. It's come a long way.
Yep. I mean, it's definitely helped. I mean, we could. I'm sure we can have a debate here for hours on good and bad aspects of technology. Okay, that's a very broad thing, but musically speaking, absolutely fantastic. I wouldn't have it any other way.
Because when it comes down to the main performance, it's still organic. I mean, it's just, in your case, 3 guys up there
we're still
having
playing
a great
our
time
musical
playing.
instruments,
Right.
I mean, I guess we can get to the point, and this has been a suggestion that we're going to all play cell phones at one point.
Sure.
So he can play a beat on his cell. I'll play guitar. They have a guitar app, and he can play bass, and maybe we'll do a song like that.
That would
And it would still be amazing, I'm sure.
awesome.
Rock and roll.
What's up?
Hey, buddy. So, oh yeah, now I lost my train of thought here.
Technology.
Yeah. Again, now with so much social media, home studios, I always talk with the bands that you almost don't need that major label record deal now. Almost. I mean, that's where the money is, obviously. But
I couldn't even imagine that for.
I'm not going to talk for everybody else, but I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah,
it's that simple.
Those
I have
days are
no
over.
clue what's what anymore. We're just going to play, and that's the end of it.
yeah that's the fun thing about this band is we're not trying to do anything. We're not trying to make it. We're not trying to do anything like that. All we're trying to do is play music for people.
If we can play music and feed our families, we have made it. We can't do that yet. So I guess we haven't made it, but we are having a great time playing. So
that's all. That
so at least we have that. You know what I mean? We still have to work our jobs. But to me, making it would be we could feed our families and play music only and create music only. But I don't know how to achieve that in this modern day. And the way I see it is, if those quality likes just keep racking up, all that stuff will take care of itself.
There's still that lightning strikes aspect, though. I mean, you could have 10 million likes, but if the right person doesn't
YouTube
see
sensations have there been?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well, that's true too. But what are they though? They're usually copycat sensations, But I mean, you've got some gigs coming up at Niagara Falls. It's stuff like that where maybe the right person may
Niagara
be there.
gig is in my opinion, the Niagara gig is kind of important to us because it's the first time we're getting out of this area.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to start, like, someone far away will now hear us.
Right.
And we will get a very honest opinion. It's not
Right.
our friend, it's not our local community coming
Exactly.
to see us. It's going to be pure strangers who are going to have a very critical ear.
Right, because you're not running a bus to Niagara with all your friends and family.
So if we do well there, then I think we're definitely on the right track.
Right.
Awesome, good. Well, Ken, now you're not just a guest host, and you're not just friends with these guys. You're managing.
I don't know if that would be the word. I help them with promotional.
Absolutely.
Is it?
Absolutely.
Maybe the word, but I mean, I helped a lot with the promotional stuff because, like I said, the first night I saw them, I fell in love with them. I mean, even if I had never known Charlie from 25 years ago.
It's a bonus that Ken and I met so many years ago, but I really didn't even know Ken till we re-met again.
Right, exactly.
And he's a dream come true for me because he's a guy who actually loves the music and wants to help promote music. Like, how many people? There's nobody. I don't think there's anybody else who wants to do that, and he's really into what we're doing.
Yeah.
So, as far as I'm concerned, it's like he's another member of the band. He's doing the whole part that we can't do, and we're doing the part that he can't do. But we're all part of this group. Like I always say, it's a team. It's a team effort.
Absolutely, yeah.
You're kind of like a part of this team right now. You're helping us get the word out, And as long as you keep helping us, we're all a team together here,
Absolutely.
So whenever any of us get somewhere, we kind of try to do it together, right?
So, Ken, I guess the next question would be for you, man. Upcoming shows, what's going on?
Well, I know Friday, and you'd be silly not to catch this show. It's going to be the Russello Project with Human Era opening up for them, and you're talking two phenomenal musicianship type bands. Like Joe's another one of those guys that plays multiple instruments. Slug, the bass player from Human Era, same thing. Their drummer. These guys are just top-notch musicians, and it's such a great guitar, bass, blues, heavy band, and then right after that you got the Russello Project. So, like, you're just talking a great night of music that I don't think there's a better bill this weekend.
Yeah,
I'm sorry to everybody else that I know and I'm friends with, but that's where you got to be Friday night. I mean, it just can't be beat. So that's Lyrics in Carbondale, and then a little further down the line, they've got a couple of gigs at Diane's Deli during the.
It's our first time there.
Right, first time.
So I'm really thrilled. I've never even been in the place.
Oh,
so I know
you're going to like it. It's a great
nice,
place.
It's a nice place. Yeah.
We had the metal meltdown there a couple months back. And, Diane's is a great place for any kind of bands. I mean, whether you're a cover band or original, it's a good place. It sounds good. There's nice wide open area. But on Thursday night, August 21st, they're going to be with Corners of Sanctuary and Threat Point. So that's going to be kind of like this night.
Is that the Tomato Festival down there?
Thursday night is the oopening night of the Tomato Fest.
So if you go down there for that, just stop in.
Yeah,
right?
Definitely, because they're right there.
So.
They're right in the thick of it. And, you can get a good dose of extremely heavy metal with Threat Point, some very deep intellectual metal with Corners of Sanctuary. Then you got Russello Project rounding out the night with some of the most intense instrumental music I've ever personally heard, and I've been around. I just wrecked the whole studio.
Ken's taking down the studio.
Yeah.
I've been around a while and I've heard an awful lot of music, and believe me, like Charlie said before, this wasn't just because we knew each other. Right, the first time I saw them, I was sold. But so you got that, and then the very next night, after they play at Diane's on the 21st, they're there again with three other bands. The one band is named God Jam It. Sorry, that's FCC. We're gonna get beeped, right? You'll lose another station over language. And then there's the
I'm dead.
Ellicott City Ghost Town, right? Is that there? Okay, I'm not familiar with some of these bands. And then there's Drive Band, who I am familiar with. I've seen them before, and believe me, they're a great band. And then rounding out the night again is Russello Project.
And that's a big contrast. Thursday, it's like a heavy scene.
Right, definitely heavy
but
scene.
Then Friday, it's going to be a whole different kind of scene down there. So if you're not
Four
like
totally
a big,
different kind of bands.
if you're not a big metal fan, Friday's the night to come down.
Right.
Yeah.
But the Thursday show is also an 18 and over show, so that's, good way for some of the younger crowd to get out and see the Russello Project, who they might not be familiar with, because they usually play regular bars.
But that's really cool how you guys can make that transition between both worlds.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was saying earlier. We're happy to play with anybody of any style because we know that the music touches people. It's not just like an attitude. It's not just the music with attitude. Like metal has a certain kind of attitude, you know? And it's not, and if you're not in that place right now with your listening preference, you don't want to hear it or see it, But our music is just like it drifts. It goes in and out of different places, It seems to touch everybody, no matter what listening level they're on,
There's some serious metal aspects. So we were at the one show that you did. I was with Alex Olivetti from Threat Point, another shredder and a half from one of the heaviest bands in the world. And the two of us were headbanging to Her Fury, which you won't hear tonight, but you guys got to see this. When you hear Her Fury, one of the Russello Projects, usually it's your closer, right?
Usually.
I mean, this song, you want to get in a mosh pit. So they definitely have very strong metal roots, and it shows. 54's got some good riffing and some heavy stuff to it. There's a lot of stuff. I mean, I could name every song, but
the word heavy has many meanings.
Right. Yeah, and
Awesome.
the virtuosity that metal exudes. I mean, when you talk about all the great guitar players in metal and bass players and drummers, I think metal usually is the biggest scene for that kind of virtuosity, and these guys all have it. I mean,
absolutely,
it's right there.
Absolutely. I think it was Mick, maybe from Corners, we were talking about this, how as the generations go on, the kids want to one-up the generation before.
Right.
And they want to be faster. They want to be the best shredder. They're doing up all the tricks.
That's all superficial.
Yeah.
It's all superficial stuff, in my opinion. Being faster, being heavier. Listen, there's probably some great bands out of the 70s that they were as heavy as it got. Can you imagine they called Led Zeppelin heavy metal once?
Right.
You know what I mean? And they were heavy. They blew those minds right out, Today it just has a different meaning, But if the music reaches you or blows you apart, it's heavy. That's how I look at it. It's heavy,
Well, again, how many bands wouldn't be here today if they didn't have the influence of Zeppelin or Sabbath?
Oh, right.
Or,
exactly. Like today's modern metal, you could probably, you only have to go back to like Metallica. I mean, a lot of the young and upcoming groups, they don't even listen back past that. And Metallica, to me, that's brand new. So it's like you said, it's all generational. It all, I still think I'm 17. That's the thing about guitar. When I pick up and play guitar, I still feel like I'm 17. I put the guitar down, I'm back to being my 40-something. And it's like that's the way it is. So sometimes I kind of deceive myself thinking I can go play for the college crowd. I don't look college. I don't play college. I could play college, but I'm not that attitude. I'm not. You need to be a college kid to play for college. You know what I mean? You got to be that. You got to be of that generation. It's like a Green Day or a Nirvana. They played for their. They were the voice of their generation. You know what I mean? As it went on, just like every decade has a voice.
Right.
So we're not trying to do that. We're trying to reach anybody who wants to hear something different.
Right.
That's all.
But those type bands, even as they mature, everything changes. I mean,
I can challenge anybody out there, all the fans, just come out and hear us one time. That's all I ask. One time. And that's it. And you don't even have to like us on Facebook or anything. But I have a feeling that, 90% of them are going to be like, this is good stuff.
Yeah.
Because there's something in there that they're going to see about their own playing or listening pleasure, that they're going to enjoy,
Well, what you said about how the music touches people and that they might annotate it into something in their life.
Right.
I mean, that's a common chord with everyone. Doesn't matter what you listen to. And I believe, I'm going to admit, when I was younger, I was strictly metal. You know, like when you were in Deranged, we were all like, yeah, throwing the horns and metal and
Absolutely.
You know, and as you grow, music changes, and like bands I would never have listened to back then, I love now. And I think, you know, like today, because of the internet and stuff, more people are more open than they were back in our day. You know, we only had so much to spend on Wednesday when Ralph sold whatever, so we usually bought whatever we were, you know, mainly listening to. Because of the internet, I know people that are serious metalheads and yet listen to, you know, the most obscure, you know, I can't even think of it, like maybe a jam band or something like that.
Right,
you know,
right,
like
right.
that's why I feel you
That's
guys
what John
feel.
was saying before. Because of technology, it doesn't matter anymore. Like, we can be 50-year-olds
Right.
doing our 50-year-old music, and there's a market out there of 50-year-olds who want to hear it.
Sure.
You know? Or younger or older, whatever. But
Exactly.
that didn't exist back then.
No.
No.
You know? It just didn't exist. But now, because of technology, it does. You know?
Right.
Music
right.
is music. It's not just appearances, you know, and all that. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
the whole celebrity thing.
Exactly. So, Ken, what else is going on?
Those are the more recent gigs that are coming up, but some of the other things that are going on are that the Russello Project is nominated in the Electric City Music Awards, and currently leading the pack. So that's really good against some stiff competition from some amazing
let's
bands.
be clear. Let's not exaggerate. The online voting is a great thing. It does count as one
vote, right.
of 7 votes.
Yeah.
There's going to be 6 actual people who are on the panel who vote, and then there's that one online vote that gets counted. So it'll be a total of 7 votes. Of course, it'd be great to win that vote. But again, I really don't care about the winning. The fact that we're on that list and that we're going to be at that party, I'm done.
Yeah.
We're good.
Yeah, that's
Right.
awesome.
You know,
And
That's
Charlie's
awesome.
also given a guitar master's class
yeah,
during
that's
that.
going to be fun.
None
Oh,
of the
wow.
dates or venues are totally finalized on that. So keep
That's
checking
actually
out the.
October 12th is the master class.
Okay, well I was wrong on that.
Yeah, no, I just found that out. October 12th
Oh, okay.
is the master class in the day. I'm gonna teach guitar for a couple hours. I'm not sure about the venue yet, so people can go to the website to look that up. What's the website again? Electric City
Electric
City Music Conference.
ElectricCityMusicConference.com, right? And then
Right.
the awards itself are called the Steamtown
So-
Music Awards.
Right, so you can go on there and see everything. You can vote for who you want to vote for. You can check out where people will be. There's going to be literally hundreds of bands.
Hundreds,
Many of them, I think the majority are original music.
Oh yeah.
So that's great.
And some national acts too that are
they're
well
bringing
known.
exactly. So
They're
the cool
bringing in-
thing is I'll be teaching in the day, and then later that night, the Russello Project will perform, and it'll be great. And that's on the 12th. I know that for a fact.
Right.
On the 10th, that's the awards party at the V-Spot.
All right.
So
All
The
right.
magazine I'm working for, Ion Indie Magazine, is going to give full coverage to that. We're actually a sponsor for the award show and the entire event, so we'll be giving as much coverage as we possibly can. I mean, it's going to be hard because, like Charlie said, there's over 100. There's definitely over 100 different bands playing in a ton of venues. And there, along with his guitar class, there's a drummer class.
yeah,
And there's a
Carl
few
Kennedy.
events, right?
Yeah, he's the drummer from the Rods. If you remember them,
Yep. Mhm.
they're pretty famous bands from the 70s.
Yeah. So I mean, this thing is huge. It's a great thing for the area. I'm telling you, like when I first heard about this, I was a little skeptical because just the area can be
Right.
just the way it is. But then when I started reading into it, not only the awards which I first looked at, I started checking the events, and then Ken from Grace's Downfall is involved in this, and there's just a ton of great people that are involved. Joe, so like the coordinators on this have totally changed everything around from the last time, and most of the awards are already in place. The venues are locked in, the bands are locked in. This is definitely going off. So if anybody had a sour taste in their mouth from the first attempt, it's nothing like that. This is really huge for the area, and like I said, Ion is going to completely give it its best coverage that we can, you know.
Awesome.
Yep.
Awesome. When's the video coming out?
For the Russello Project, well, that's going to be a while. there was 10 cameras involved, and the audio is being mastered now.
So I would say no later than fall we'll have a product.
Right.
Did you have to get the fire department to sign releases or anything? Or
Oh, you know what? Everybody proud. We just used a video release. Their attendance was them saying that they were okay being there, but the firemen. Oh, I think I will have to do that actually to include it. I didn't even think of that. But yeah, and then they're also working on first CD, right?
Yes. So we have as you've been listening tonight, it's all demo stuff. So we're recording an official studio CD.
Awesome.
And we hope to have that, again, near the fall time. And maybe it will coincide with the video release, so you'll have the whole package, DVD and...
oh, cool. And then when that comes out, we can have you back.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah, that'd be really cool. Well, what else going on?
I know they were also just in Connections magazine. A great interview written by one of the best local writers in the area, Mark Yurchek from The Weekender. Did an interview with Charlie, and they put in a nice 2-page article in Connections. I think you can pick up Connections at some of the local music shops and some stores, and
you can read it online too.
You can also get it online. Well, yeah, just about everything's available online anymore. But not too long ago, I had them in Ion. I did a pretty big interview with the entire band and Charlie on 2 separate dates, and we got that in Ion, and that's been going really well. I know a lot of people, behind the scenes we had the stats and everything, who's reading what, and a lot of people are spending a lot of time on that particular article.
On their article, cool.
So,
yeah. That's why we're here. We want to play music for people, so we want people to know we exist. So if you don't come out to our shows, you're never going to know we exist, and you're never going to know what you're missing. And we're never going to get those great feelings we want to get playing for an audience. So that's why we're here, and we just hope that, the listeners out there will take a stab and take a chance and come out and see us at one of these venues.
Awesome.
You definitely should. I mean, it's just because I know how good they are and what they do for me, and I don't always go around recommending everybody. Believe me, everybody I do recommend is worth going to see, in my opinion anyway. And I think you're going to thank me if you listen to me and go see these guys. So far, I haven't been wrong. Everybody I've brought to their show, just for the video shoot, my family came, and another woman in tears, my mother-in-law, loved her stuff. I mean, she was absolutely blown away. And now my kids being younger and being into totally different kinds of music, stayed for the whole entire first set until the fire incident. But I mean, and same thing, they were blown away. Everybody thanked me for
that's
convincing them to
just
go.
right there. You're talking about 3 generations.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
That's awesome.
Yep.
That's really awesome. Where can the listeners find the Russello Project?
We are on Facebook. Just type in Russello Project. You can also go to Reverb Nation Russello Project, and they will be able to hear some of the demos that we have and get some news and updates, stuff like that. But my main source is Facebook. So if you like our page, or you could friend me, Mike, or John, and you'll get updates on what we're doing and where we're playing and stuff.
Do you have the Reverb Nation connection with Facebook?
I have if you're on my Facebook site, or the Russello Project Facebook site, if you hit the play button, there's a play button, it'll take you to the Reverb Nation and play the song.
And it'll still play through the Facebook page, though, right?
Yeah, the reverb player on that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Awesome. Guys, let's play another song. How about Sky? Gang, I want to thank Mr. Ken Jones for hanging out with me tonight and co-hosting the show, and I want to thank Mike, Charlie, and John from the Russello Project. Now, you guys can catch the Russello Project August 21st at Diane's Deli in Pittston with Corners of Sanctuary and Threat Point. And again, at Diane's Deli in Pittston, August 22nd, Friday, with God Jam It, Elliott City Ghost Tour, and Drive Band. Again, August 21st and August 22nd, both at Diane's. Be sure to catch them. And as always, be safe, stay well, keep it metal.
This is Charlie.
And this is John, and we're from the Russello Project, and we're keeping it metal with Billy.